Have you ever watched a basketball game where a team kept on scoring and just never misses? Or have you seen the boxing game where the player kept on striking the opponent's defense and never stopped? And every sports coach knows that this is the most threatening signal and decided to take a timeout. Why? Because they know how powerful and at the same time dangerous a momentum can be. Having said that, let us delve into 3 perspectives of how momentum can be used in leadership. The first lesson is to be aware. Let me paint you a picture. Imagine you are in the Titanic scene and in front of you there is an iceberg and you're just so big and you created such a huge momentum that it's really difficult for you to turn around. Or you were in your car in the highway and you were driving with such high velocity and in front of you there is a wall. There's nothing to turn back on. Well, do realize that momentum can create such a trouble and therefore emotional high. Let me give you a case from high-speed chase where most of the time the person who are chasing ended up killing the person who they chased for after they got them. And this is because at that time where they are chasing, they were undergoing an emotional high that caused them to be high tension and kill the person eventually. Now be aware of how momentum can cause an effect on you. The second lesson is training. Do you realize that momentum can be trained? And how do you think a bodyguard is being trained? Well, they were simulating a real world where this is a wall that suddenly you go to the other side of the wall and you are being shot at with a fake bullet. This creates a low pressure when it comes to the real world when you are being faced with a real bullet. And for most people, if they were at a mall and suddenly a person starts off pulling a gun, they would panic and froze. And this is not the case for bodyguards because they already being trained to react in a low pressure state. So you can train, in fact, your momentum. The third lesson is to be the lion and the fox. The lion because they are assertive, the fox because they know where the traps are. It was 3 years ago when I visited a phone store and I just happened to stumble across an expensive section of the phone. But at that time, my budget just doesn't suffice. So here's what I asked to the seller. Excuse me, where can I find the affordable section of the phone? And the response struck me because here's what she said. Sir, if you would like to buy an expensive phone, then you can go over this section. But if you would like to have a more affordable, cheaper option, then you can come with me. Now at the time, my emotion was hurt and my ego was hurt because I thought to myself, do you think I cannot buy this expensive phone? And then I happened to buy it out of emotion, and later on, I found out from a sales technique book is that this is one of the techniques sales employ to hurt the ego and urge you to buy on emotion. So be aware that you must play as the lion and the fox. So pay attention at the momentum around you, be it taking a risk, doing something you fear repeatedly, and when you found out the momentum, never ever let it go. That is the message for today. Thank you and goodbye.